Good morning, guys. Welcome to this version of our Monday meetings, and I'm really excited to be here. So, today we're talking about breaking into the luxury market. And if you guys are established agents, or you're not established agents, or if you're just looking for ways to get into or increase your average sale point, this is what we wanted to design this class for. Okay, so I did put together a slide show, and I'm going to go ahead and start sharing that. If you guys will indulge me a second, I'm going to share my desktop. Hopefully, you guys can see this. Let me know if you can or cannot. Are we
It's
good?
coming through clear.
Everyone good? Can see it? All right, great. So, I'm leveraging AI. I don't know if you guys have done much with AI yet or not, but this is Gamma, and it was really actually pretty cool to help me build my presentation over the last few weeks of building this. So, just wanted to get into what is luxury and kind of help define that. And you guys can make decisions on whether or not it's something that you're interested in getting into. But defining our luxury market. Okay, so in my opinion, when started out this whole process of trying to define what luxury is, and there's the book definition, which is, typically is double the average of your sale price. In my opinion, I really feel like your ability to break into the luxury market is through your own authenticity, and it's through your ability to be your true self. It's interesting when you look in the luxury market and you look at the number of agents that are in it. I would say that very few of them are exactly alike. And you have to really be authentic to who you are and know what you're trying to get for your clientele to really find that niche. We have agents in our market that just specialize in horse property, and that's their thing. We have agents that specialize in just one neighborhood, and they own a neighborhood. And then you have other agents that are just very commonly in that luxury threshold, that luxury pricing, and you don't typically see them in the lower price points. So this is designed for you guys help to understand, what it takes to get into that. If you don't have much experience getting into the luxury market, we're going to talk about that. Okay, so it's understanding that the price point in your market, wherever it is, understanding what the premium neighborhoods are, and really getting an in-depth knowledge of what specifics in that neighborhood. You have to be you have to be the expert. You have to spend the time before you can actually start to work and talk to those people, educating yourself and getting up to speed on knowing all the ins and outs. For example, in a neighborhood like off the top of my head, like Newland Green in our area, it's a high-end luxury neighborhood that starts in the 1.3 to 1.7 range. It's knowing the models that are in that neighborhood, knowing the amenities, knowing that if someone calls you and wants to list their house, you can look up and know which model that they live in, know the potential upgrades that they've made, and know the differences and nuances of another similar home sale in that neighborhood that may be sold for slightly higher and the reasons why that's sold for higher. Okay. So we'll get into that. But understanding just all the different things, knowing the builders, knowing the models, the ages of the homes, the school districts, et cetera, are all things that you really have to own in order to be that resource. So I pulled this out of our MLS, and I wanted to define what luxury is in Chester County and Newcastle County, because that's the two counties that we live in specifically. It's going to be different for each one of you guys. This information is easily gettable. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys was for Chester and Newcastle County, if I look at the average sold price, or the average list price from homes in the last year, from $1 up to $850,000, you'll see that we have listed 13,368 homes in that price point. Okay, it's a lot of homes in 365 days just in those two counties. Now, the average sale price for all of those homes in that price point, which is it's almost $1 million range, the average is around $432,000. Okay, so I broke this down and said, okay, well, if I'm looking at that, what would be an average commission? It's around $10,000, okay, give or take. Now I wanted to also look at the luxury market. Now the luxury market in that same area, same time frame in the last 365 days, I wanted to see all homes that have sold for 850,000 or more. Okay. And when you pull this apart, you'll see that there were 1,862 homes that sold in Chester County and Newcastle County in the last year. The average sale price for this price point for 850,000 and more is 1,250,000. Okay. So early on in my career, when I started getting into real estate, I've been doing this for about 22 years now. I started out and I just wanted to grind. I didn't really know that many people. I was from the area, but I just moved back from living out west for 4 years. So I was coming back into this area, newly licensed. I was like 23 or 24 years old. And I just knew that I was hungry and I wanted to get into the industry. And I started just doing whatever I could. There was an agent in my office at the time. And she was just very good at being in that higher price point. And I was grinding, grinding, grinding. After 6, 8, 10 months, I started looking down and I was closing deals. I think I closed 18 homes my first year. And I was working hard, but it didn't really equate to that much volume because I think my average price point at the time was in the $250,000 range. So at the end of the year, I looked at things and I said, well, this girl wound up doing a little bit more than me. I think she sold 32 houses that year, but her average price point was in like the $700,000 range. And that was when the light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, well, I'm just going to do that. I just want to focus on selling in the higher price point. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to go away from these, right? Because this is obviously the higher percentage of the volume in our area. But there's 13,400 houses that sold in the last year in this area and in this range. But that's all fine and good. But at the end of the day, there was also 1,900 homes that sold in that 1.25 average price point range as well. What I'm focusing on is this. And I'm very intentional about wanting to focus on a higher price point. I was proud that at the end of the last few years, even when we had our busiest years, that our average sale price was in the high sixes. If selling 120 houses or 115 houses in some of our best years, our averages were still that high. And it's because I think we're focusing on that luxury clientele, and we're going to talk about ways that we can do that. So ultimately, why choose why choose luxury? There's not a right or wrong answer. I don't think that you should be intimidated by luxury. If you're not in that or not used to working with those kinds of clientele, we're going to walk through different things that you can do specifically that are going to give you the tools that you need in order to have a presence in this market. But ultimately, this was my reason, right? I thought about things and I was like, well, if I can make a $30,000 commission and work just as hard, or sometimes you're working a little bit harder, but I'm not giving less service to someone in the lower price point. I treat everyone the exact same. So where would I choose to spend my time where I'm going to maximize? I'm going to get a three times earning potentially by working in that price point. So if I don't have to work three times as hard to make three times the money, I can just focus on working with this clientele base, and it's about working smarter. So that's ultimately where when I started out, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on this, and this is how I'm getting there. So if at any point during this you guys are thinking of questions or you want to pop something into the chat, we'll definitely uh, carve out some time at the end of this so that I can work through and we can have kind of an interaction, and you guys can ask questions or anything that you like. Okay. So first and foremost, I believe it's really crucially important to elevate your brand. Okay, so you have to have a professional image across virtually everything that you do. I think it's important how you dress. I think it's important how you present yourself, and your ability to get in front of as many people as you can that are in that luxury segment. I'm not a huge proponent of the word networking. I don't really think that doesn't really come across as authentic to me. I believe that if you're just in the right places and you're putting yourself with the right people, without the intentionality of saying, I'm going to turn this person into a sale. You're creating relationships, you're engaging in the communities that you should be engaging in, that sales and business comes organically. So I believe that getting in front of people and having conversations with with people in the right segments is something that you should focus on, putting yourself in the right environments. And then, of course, marketing, which we'll get into as well. So I believe all of those things are critical points of getting into luxury. But this is the first thing that I think all of you can work on, because the reality is, let's see, this is always like my worst nightmare. So you see these two pictures. And I just believe that how you dress really matters. If you guys will ever see me during the week, and Sherry and Sarah can attest to this, I very rarely am ever in a t-shirt. If I'm coming into the office, at the end of the day, and I'm going to the gym, maybe I'll have a t-shirt on, and that's maybe once in a while. But I'm typically, if it's during office or business hours, I'm in a collared button-down shirt and a blazer. I just think that is the right way to do business. I think that my worst nightmare is if imagine your first impression if you're walking into a coffee shop at 10 a.m. and a person that wants to sell their house, and it's 1.3 million or 1.4 million runs into you, and you're standing in line and you look like this guy on the left, and they're talking to you and you're talking to them about real estate. You could have all the knowledge in the world, you could be the most professional person in the world, you can have in-depth knowledge, but if you look like this guy, I don't know how much credibility that you're going to have. Whereas if you're looking like the guy on the right, I'm not saying you have to wear a suit every single day, but how you dress absolutely matters. And it also goes down to like how your presence, and how you are just in general. I think you can really work on your posture, your handshake, your speaking with clear intentionality, with making eye contact with people. All these things really do matter, because customers and clients are going to make decisions on whether or not they want to work with you in the first 2 seconds. And I really do believe that it's the first, you have less than 10 seconds to make sure that the person, now this is non-luxury at all. Or this is it, you know what I mean? It's not specific to luxury or to someone that's in the entry level price point. People make decisions on their comfort level with you immediately. So your brand and your personal brand is critically important. And you just want to make sure that you're coming across as the trusted, true professional that you are. Okay. So, and then lastly, knowledge on this page. You really have to have an in-depth knowledge of market and market statistics. You can even be conversant in subjects beyond real estate, just staying informed on local trends. If someone starts talking to you about the market and you know nothing about the market, you're not going to have the ability to connect with them, right? So if you're dealing with a high-end luxury person, and they're very much tuned into the market and the market conditions, or even into the stock market, and you know nothing about the current trends and current issues with what's going on with Tesla or with the country, and you can't speak knowledgeably about that, it's going to cause a disconnect. Okay, so we established what luxury is, and let's talk a little bit about uh, you're ready. You're thinking this makes a lot of sense, but where do I start? Okay. So first and foremost, when I was getting into this, I just decided that I'm going to be in the luxury market segment. I had no listings, I had no business, I had no clientele or sphere. What I did is I went around to agents that had listings. I just scoured the hot sheet in the MLS, and I looked at all new construct or all new listings that were coming into the MLS that were high end in the luxury market in the price point that I wanted to be in. And I literally would just call all those agents. I was broker agnostic. I didn't care if they were at a different brokerage than I was. If they had a new listing and it was in a price point that I wanted to be in, I was calling that person and saying, "Hey, this is a fantastic listing. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Is there any chance that you would allow me to sit in open house for you?" Most times I don't want to sit in open house because I'm not trying to churn buyers for myself. I rely on my team and the agents on my team for that. But it's a huge tool if you think about it, because you're putting yourself in a potential position to work with buyers that are in that price point. So why wouldn't you do this, right? Why wouldn't you, if you have no listings and you're trying to get into that luxury segment, why wouldn't you call me or someone else in your market that's just put on a $7 million house or an $11 million house and ask them if they could sit an open house for you? They could say no, but who cares? Second thing to do, I would start farming neighborhoods. Now, this is a really critical mistake that a lot of people make in farming is they'll send out a wave of postcards to a specific neighborhood, right? So say you target a neighborhood and there's 75 homes in it and you want to start sharing information and establish yourself as the real estate professional in their neighborhood. Okay, it's very easy to do. And in fact, there have been studies and stories of other people that they created a fake agent and they just started canvassing a neighborhood and they said agent XYZ and made them the real estate professional, right? And they did this consistently. Now, the key is consistency. You can't do one farm to a neighborhood and expect a result. It's going to take time. It's going to take just a lot of repetition, and it's kind of like branding. Think like Coca-Cola, right? You're trying to just make your face in front of in front of them and understand that you're going to be the agent and you're establishing your credibility. After 6 months, that fake agent, when they went and surveyed the neighborhood, is who is the best agent in this neighborhood? The fake agent won. It's kind of crazy, but it takes that, right? So if you're going to farm a neighborhood, you have to have a plan over I would say a 6 month period of things that you're going to do to add value to that neighborhood. I would start out by talking about average home sale prices, right? Days on the market, what a home listed for, what it's sold for. This is the sharing market data that I'm talking about here. To position yourself as that expert in this area, you have to have a really in-depth knowledge of past sales, what your average sale prices are, your sold sale price to list price, the average price per square foot, the average days on the market, et cetera. All those different things that come into play. You need to be, if you're marketing yourself as the real estate professional and the expert for this community and this neighborhood, you have to own that. So it can't just happen overnight, but it's something that we all have free information for. All this information is readily available to us. So here's that word that I love, networking events in the right area, but it's understanding where these people are, right? So I decided, and there's a number of reasons I decided to do this, but I joined a country club and I love golf and my kids love golf and so we're there, but we're very intentional about being there as well because there are probably 7 or 8 real estate agents that are members of this country club. I derive a ton of business from being at the club because I think that's where one of the right environments for people that are in this luxury market sector of our market where they are. Okay, so it's doing things like that. It's being in areas like I put some examples down of like going to Longwood Gardens, going to Winterthur in our area, going to the Willowdale steeplechases, places where people are that are affluent people are going to be. Okay. Community events in target areas, getting into local activities and just trying to build real authentic relationships in the markets that you want to work in. It's critically important to spend time and really understand the market, understand all the factors that are coming into play, and just really immersing yourself in knowing the market. Because when you're in conversations with sellers that are in this luxury segment, they're vetting you out the entire time that they're talking to you. In fact, they're also vetting you out before they even call you or meet you. Okay, so I think what I've found through most of my interactions is especially in that luxury market, before I'm sitting down at the table with them, they've always vetted me out. They've always done homework on me and our team. And it's through that brand presence that is what kind of establishes you there. So find ways to share your knowledge. So this is through coffee shops. If you're not in specific markets, I know some people that just walk their dog in the neighborhood that they want to be in. Sherry was really good at this on my team. She wanted to get into a neighborhood, and she didn't even live in the neighborhood, but she stalked the neighborhood, and we make fun of her all the time about it. But she got into the neighborhood. We figured out how to get her into there, but she'd walk her dog in that neighborhood. And she started networking and she met people and she started talking and she knew of other neighbors. And neighbors always know of homes that are coming up on the market before they hit. Oh, John and Jane are selling their house down the street. They're getting relocated. These are all things that you can do to glom more opportunities and give yourself the chances to be in conversation with people in that luxury segment. Lastly, on this page, we're talking about digital optimization. And when I was talking about your brand is first and foremost is the way you carry yourself. Is the knowledge that you're able to glom over your experience and your ability to share that information and disseminate that to the client is first and foremost. Secondly, your brand. And your brand should have continuity through everything that you do. It should be, you should have continuity with your signage, with your brochures, with your marketing pieces. It should look the same on all of your social media sites. And one of the tools that I wanted to share with you guys that we've come across, this was at EXPCon last year, Kristen. They had like one of the stands there, and the site or the platform is called RealGrader, and RealGrader is pretty cool. I have to say what they do. It's an AI platform, and they help to bring in content so that you can start to post things in social media. But what it does is it automatically will disseminate the information across all social media platforms that you have. So you get a continuity with your brand, and you can put the post into RealGrader, and it will make that post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, anything that you guys have that's a platform, and you don't have to go and manage all of those sites at the same time. You literally just put everything into RealGrader, and then once you make your ad with your brand, with your logo, so that everything looks the same, you can post that, and it'll post it for you on all those different sites. So just a good takeaway if you're interested in doing research on them. I don't think it's too pricey, and they have like I think it's a 6 or 12 month contract. Okay, so let's get into what luxury sellers are looking for, what their demand is. Obviously, they want expert knowledge of the deep understanding of the luxury market and property values. They want you to have conviction on home value. Okay, it's we'll talk about this in a little bit, but it's critically important in this price point to have conviction in what you're trying to communicate to the seller. If you have a discrepancy in the opinion of value, they're going to respect you more for your ability to share that opinion than if you just kind of cower and cave to what their wishes are. It's a pretty intimidating thing to get into at first, because you have to be able to negotiate and you have to be able to, if you disagree on in this price point by 5 or 10%, oftentimes that could be 100,000 or more dollars. And you have to have conviction and really know what you're talking about and have confidence. So it's in their confidence in you, but you have to have confidence in knowing that what you're saying is right and what you're going to deliver on. Um, Secondly, rapid response. I think in this price point and the luxury market, they really are looking to move quickly. They want immediate availability. They want to have a response right away. Oftentimes, they don't have a whole lot of flexibility in their schedule. So if they say, "Hey, I can meet you on Saturday at 11 a.m." Oftentimes that doesn't work for me, but I make it work for especially in the luxury market. If it's a $2 or $3 million listing, I think most of you guys would jump at the chance to get that listing. But it's absolutely important to make it their top priority or make them your top priority. Again, brand presence, they're going to do research on you as a brand. So you have to have strong marketing systems, a recognized reputation, making sure that you're spending time to ensure continuity through all your marketing sites using the high quality photos, logos, brochures, etc. If you don't have a track record yet and you're still trying to break into this market, use your brokerage. Use EXP or whoever you guys are with. They're all good brokerages. Use their track record, use their sales numbers, and that will establish you as the expert and just move on. The less time that you spend focusing on your lack of experience and talking to them about the market and numbers, the more comfortable they're going to feel that you're equipped to be able to handle and work with them. And lastly, on this, I really feel like you need to adopt a full concierge model mindset for luxury. They need to feel like they are your absolute top priority, that you're taking care of them. And I kind of think of like a white glove service. So you need to be the resource for anything and everything that they could possibly need. If you're at the listing appointment and they need to have a room painted, you need to be the resource and you need to have your contacts and share the contacts with them. And it goes several steps beyond that, right? So if I did this morning when we have an upcoming listing that's going to hit the market next week or at the end of this week, and they are moving out of our area, moving down to Annapolis area, and they are buying a house and they need a really good mover. I shared the mover. I contacted the mover. I called them and let them know that they would be reaching out to them. And then I said, go ahead and call them. And I would do this sooner than later because they book out. Then after she calls them, I'm going to call her to see how the experience went, and then call the mover again and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure everything was good." Now that's kind of the next level of customer service. But if you are doing that for the client, they're going to be like, "Wow, that was really incredible." Likewise with painters, call the painter, have them be prepared for the phone call and make sure that the job is well done, and that's full concierge level of going above and beyond to serve the client. Okay, so this section on how you speak matters, and I think we kind of touched on this through this process, but I really truly believe that in every case, no matter what price point you're in, you're helping people navigate a lot of times the most expensive or the biggest financial transaction that they're going to have in their lives. Oftentimes when we're dealing in the luxury market, as an agent that's coming into this market that's not comfortable with doing this, this is probably one of the more intimidating sections of how you're interacting with your client. Is you have to have conviction when you know that you're right. I just did a price reduction a month ago of $2 million price reduction. So that's a really nice house in our market, but I dropped a property from $12 million to $9.9 million. I picked up another listing 2 weeks ago for $12 million. It's not going to go in the market just yet, but it's a $12 million listing. It had a gatehouse at the front of it that was it needed some work, but it was also a luxury property. It was going to list for around $2 million. The seller didn't really have an idea of what to do. And he was thinking that he wanted to sell that front property and not do anything. And he wanted X for his house. And he was unsure about how to do this. Well, after we walked out with from the listing appointment, we have a very clear picture based on my recommendations. And he was like, that makes total sense. So I said, absolutely, the mistake would be to sell that gatehouse first, because if we're bringing in a really high net worth buyer, and again, there aren't many buyers in this price point, in the 10 to $12 million price point in Chester County or Newcastle County. It's going to take a very specific buyer. But based on the advice that you give the seller, and your conviction in how you're saying it, it only deepens their respect for you, and you have to be able to communicate that very clearly and with confidence. If you're not confident in how you're delivering this, then they're going to not have confidence either, and they might second guess the decision whether or not they should work with you or with somebody else that has a lot more confidence or they feel more comfortable with. So oftentimes we're talking, even when we're negotiating an offer, of deltas of several $100,000, and it's in your ability to feel comfortable and negotiating those kinds of things, and working through nets to the seller, and just navigating that, and you just need to start to get comfortable working in that space. And with the more comfortable that you are, the seller is going to have a lot more confidence, and they're going to feel like you know what you're doing. So um, then we'll get into understanding the luxury client personality. So I always go back to this because this was some of the best training that I ever got. We've talked about this before, but I hope by show of hands that you guys all seen the disc before, the disc profile. So the four different personality types, and it's in your ability to identify the type of personality that you're dealing with in the luxury market. Um, by show of hands, or anyone want to chime in, who do you think is, or what personality type would you think that you would find most in the luxury market?
D is my guess.
Dominant.
Yeah. I think the higher majority of people would be dominant, but it's very interesting to me that often the dominant person isn't the decision maker. The dominant one could be the one that's the business person, that's the one that's made all the money, and the one that's the reason why they're there. But sometimes it's the spouse that is the decision maker, and they're the ones, that are you're going to be working with the most. So it's really understanding the personalities. One is, are they dominant? Do they just want short answers? And sometimes I go into a listing appointment in a luxury listing, and I don't even get into the market analysis. I don't even open the CMA. I'm just talking to the guys and talking to the people, and we're having conversations, and I'm regurgitating information, talking to them about statistics. And I say, do you guys want to see the market? No, we don't even want to see the market analysis. We're comfortable moving forward. Let's just go. Okay. Other times they could be an I, and they're just relationship oriented. They're super bubbly. They're enthusiastic. And you have to be that. You have to mirror that image of, hey, I'm here too. And I'm so excited to be here. And tell me about your dog. Tell me about your kids, kind of thing. That's the personality that you have to mirror. If they're steady and they like to just take their time, and you've got it. Sometimes I'm on a 2 hour, 3 hour listing appointment, just because they want to know everything. They're sitting there. They're very analytical. They want to, they just want to spend that time, and they don't want a whole lot of things to happen quickly, because this is such a big investment for them. And then, of course, compliance. So the compliant people are super detail oriented. They're analytical. They like numbers. And if that's the case, I'm going to spend a lot of time on numbers with those people. If I walk in, the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm an accountant." I'm spending all my time on numbers, talking to them about market statistics, about average sale prices. All of those things come into play, and vice versa. If they're influential, and they're talking about decor and all those kinds of things, you have to be able to mirror that. So identify that early on, and you increase your comfort level tremendously with clients, and you have a much higher success rate in closing them. Next, we're going to talk about just building your luxury vendor network. So, this is a huge resource. Okay. So, as you're in this luxury market and you're dealing with people, you have to be the resource for any and everything that they could possibly need. You have to be able to give them the top quality stagers, top quality, things to decorate the home. Stagers are critical. Any contractors, if they have any needs for plumbing repairs or any things that need to happen prior to the listing going on, to reputable movers, reputable painters. You should be keeping a preferred list of vendors and be that resource for any and everything at any point in time. Okay, this also gives you a really good reason to make phone calls, even if you're prospecting for business, right? So if things start to slow down, we have the ability to just go out and make phone calls. And I'll call Kyle up and say, "Hey, Kyle, this is Rory from the Rory Burkhart team at EXP. Thanks for taking my call. The reason for me reaching out is we are the trusted experts in your neighborhood. And I just wanted to reach out to you to see if you have anything that's real estate related that I can help you with." No, we're fine. Okay, well, just keep in mind we keep a preferred list of vendors for any and everything that you could possibly need. If you need HVAC guys, painters, plumbers, movers, anything at all, we're here for you as that resource. So you don't have to go and try to find somebody. If ever you need an electrician, just call me and I'll be able to give that to you, okay? Just get in a conversation, be authentic, be a resource. So that is critically important. And then that also allows you to be that concierge to the customer. So I wanted to share with you guys our pre-listing brochure. This is what we send out to listings before we get there. And 9 times out of 10, we'll text it to them, email it to them. But I just wanted to show this to you guys so you could kind of see it. But this is what let's see if I can do this without, here we go. Can you guys still see the screen? I'm just going to scroll through it quickly, but this is just the pre-listing brochure that we send out, just introducing us, our team, talk about who we are, what we do. Okay, choosing the right team. So hopefully this brings value to you guys. And if you'd like a copy of this, I'm a firm believer in R&D. So just rip off and duplicate, make this your own. You guys can take this and do anything you want. So just chime in the chat thing, and we'll send this out. But this is understanding the market, neighborhood knowledge, project management, paperwork. We're going to guide you through every part of this process. This is one of our listings in Chester County that we have. Our signature approach, why I'm the best agent for you with a track record of over 20 years and sold over 1,000 homes in Chester County, and our designations and awards that we've won. We have client testimonials in here. Our averages for our success rates. Now we'll change this page for our recent transactions based on the price point that we're going after. So if I'm looking to get a $700,000 or $800,000 listing, I'm not going to show the multi-million-dollar sales because sometimes people are like, "Oh, you only deal in that luxury market." We want to make sure they understand we do everything. Okay, so we do all price points, we do everything, and you are our top priority. And then we get into why work with EXP, by the numbers, and all this stuff is available to you in Canva, and we have all of this stuff as a resource, but just gives you information about who we are, so they don't have any questions. They kind of are prepared by the time we get to the listing. They already know this guy's a professional. He knows what he's saying, what he's going to do. This is a roadmap for like the selling process, and just kind of gives them sort of a framework so they understand the process. So establishing, meeting with the real estate agent, establishing a price, preparing the home for sale, listed for sale. Now what happens? We get to closing, final details or offers, negotiations, under contract, final details, and closing. Okay. It shares statistics on pricing, and then talks to them about being ready for me sharing the market analysis for them. Okay, walking through the comps and then things that we do to market the house. But again, if you send this beforehand, and you sit down with them and you say, "Hey, I hopefully had a chance to just scroll through that real quick." They'll be like, "Yeah, it was awesome. That's exactly what we're hoping for." It just gets them prepared to, uh, you know, to, for the meeting, and it shows them that you know what you're doing and that you're established. Okay, enough. Moving on. So let's see. Other marketing materials that we use for most of our marketing, when we're listing a luxury property, our brochures are nicer. Hopefully you guys can you see this one now? This is what our luxury brochures look like. Okay. So they're high end, they're print, on really nice print. They have all the marketing or all the amenities for the house, upgrades, the remarks that we write, and then super like huge color photos that are just glossy and high quality. And this is thanks to Sarah on the team for preparing our marketing materials. But this is what is left behind when buyers come into this house. This is what they get to take with them, right? So we're communicating luxury and our brand presence throughout everything we do. We do nice signs, we do nice brochures, we do nice marketing, we do high quality photos. This is what you'll see on our social media. If you look at any of our social media sites, it's going to be the same. You're going to see this on Instagram. You're going to see this on Facebook. You're going to see this everywhere. Okay. So that is something that I think is definitely important. We do 3D Matterports. I don't know if you guys do that or if you've seen those. Matterports are huge. They're expensive, but it's a very immersive experience. It's kind of like walking through a 3D Google Street View of every single room in the house. You can actually zoom out of it and make it into a dollhouse and spin it around and click on any room in the dollhouse and it zooms you right back in. What we found is people spend more time on your site, and in your listing if you have it listed on any of the MLSs or any of the other third-party sites like Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com. You can get metrics on the amount of time people spend in your listing. And what we've found is that people spend more time in these 3D Matterport. It's just kind of a sticky factor, and it's just cool. So sellers in that segment, when you show that to them, they're like, "Wow, that's actually really cool." And then this other item that we started implementing this past year, which is actually really cool. I took a picture of it in someone's house. We started this biz box, and Kristen, I'm sorry, you were just before this started going down, but we started seeing a need every time that we were selling something. People got in contact with us for movers, and then they're like, "Do you guys have any boxes?" And I was like, the light bulb went off with this company. And I was like, "This is brilliant to do this. This is our logo on the box, right?" So, if you can see that logo right there, that's our logo on the moving box. Okay, so think about how cool this is, and we're starting to get really, really great responses. So what we'll do is we'll send 50 boxes to a seller. Okay, all the boxes have this brand on it, and they all have our logo, all of our information, our phone number, website, everything on it. They get packing materials, they get scissors, they get tape, and they get bubble wrap, right? So $330 for 50 of them, right? Now, the cool thing about this one is when they're moving, everyone sees the moving boxes, right? They all see our logo everywhere. How many of you guys still have moving boxes in your house by show of hands from when you moved into the house? I do. So if that's sitting in their basement, sitting in their garage, sitting anywhere, talk about top of mind awareness. When they come down to the basement, they see a moving box and it still has your logo on it. I thought that that was an invaluable thing, and I'm really excited that we've implemented that into our business. I just think it's a cool thing, and it also further enhances that kind of white glove service of, hey, we do everything for you guys. We want to make sure that we have everything taken care of, every aspect of your move we want to be there for, and we want to be the resource for everything. So bizbox.com is really cool. So again, we're finishing up here, but I just really can't hammer down on enough on the white glove communication, white glove service. You have to really think about everything throughout your entire experience that you're creating for that client as the luxury person in this area. You have to just be able to convey that, and it comes through with everything from your marketing to the conversations and having that concierge mindset of it's crazy to me that you have the opportunity to work and make that kind of money with somebody, and you see people all the time, and I've gotten this feedback quite often with people that have had experiences with other agents in the past. They're like, I can't believe how well you follow up, because the other person, like, I would hear from them just intermittently, but like that extra level of phone call, the extra communication that you offer, the confidence in what you're able to convey, it all translates back into the experience that they have, that they're going to take away. And that's what you're really trying to do. And this is how you grow your presence in luxury. This is how you get referral business, and this is how you get repeat clients. So key takeaways is build meaningful connections. Make sure that you're really trying to elevate your personal brand, just the way that you dress, the way that you communicate, the way that you are. Um, Try to focus on really having that continuity through your marketing. Do everything that you can to deliver exceptional service and spend time where the luxury people are. So that's really what I have, guys. Thank you so much. I don't know if there are questions, Kristen, or are there any comments or anything, but that is what I have. I think you're muted.
I am, and I'm trying to get back
There you go.
to everyone. So give me 1 second.
I can't see the chat bar. Oh, there it is.
Rory, this is extremely helpful. I appreciate you
Good, man.
sharing all your insights and your learning and your expertise here. Um, yeah, I'm excited to apply a few of these principles here to my business.
Happy to
So,
help, man.
yeah, question for you. Have you looked at EXP's luxury marketing and such, or have you done your own marketing to make it premium just because you've been in that space for so long?
Yes, I've looked into it, and I'm in conversations with them actually. We have done all of our own marketing up until this point. I do think that there's definitely an add-on that we could use to enhance that through EXP Luxury. Just working through price point and trying to determine if, I think it's going to be something that's going to move the needle. And I think that it possibly will. It's just, do we add another expense on to what we already have or not? But it's definitely something that we're looking into for sure.
Can I
Thank
follow
you.
up on what Kyle was asking?
Sure.
So, Kyle, I did sign up for luxury at EXPCon, and I think where I get the most value is the pre-listing, I guess call it packet, but it's not the same as what we think of. It allows you, it automatically prepares for you a list of 10 different luxury marketing platforms that you get for free because you've joined luxury. And you take a picture of the house that you're marketing and you upload it, and it imports that house into all of the luxury marketing like landing pages. And so then they're seeing their house in their mind, visualizing it. And then the benefit, and this, Rory, this might help you too, but the benefit of spending that, I think it's $2,500 a year, is that EXP, if you're a luxury division member, will push out for free to all those luxury advertising pages. And Rory, like I said, I think that's where you'll get the most of your benefit, because you're advertising in Barron's, in Mansion Global, in Wall Street Journal, and 7 other places, and it's free to you. Whereas normally you're paying, 75, 100, 150, $200 to put your listing in a single periodical. So you get unlimited listings, all that stuff, plus the EXP branded, documents like the booklet that you leave at the house and things like that. So I definitely think it's worth it, but at the same time, you don't necessarily need it, to get started in luxury.
That's great. Yeah, and the other thing, guys, I wouldn't, I don't want you to get too intimidated about needing to have a ton of money to get into this. You don't. Like, if you think about like social media is free, and the education that you provide yourself in this in luxury is also free. You can do as much research as you have access to in the MLS. You can really get an in-depth knowledge of markets and neighborhoods specifically. You can understand and know who builders are. I mean, if you were thinking about getting into luxury and you knew that there's a luxury new construction community, be that person. Be the one that broadcasts that there's a new luxury community coming out in social media. It's free for you. Do videos, share information about amenities that are coming in, things that might excite a potential buyer. And if you start establishing yourself with content on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you start sharing information about that community, you're going to be the guy. You're going to be the person that they call because a buyer is going to want to know more information, and just by osmosis, you're going to what you focus on is going to expand. So I think spending time and doing that, of course, marketing materials and things that you can spend money on are going to are you should expect a return for those. But the brand that you're creating doesn't have to cost you a whole lot of money. You can focus on having that same continuity throughout all of your branding, through your logo. Make yourself the professional, and it'll convey.
I have a question. Do you give commissions? Do you give a different options for commission packages on what you spend on your marketing?
No, I don't.
Do you negotiate your commission?
In the higher price points, if once I go over like 3 million, I start to discount the commission. Up until that point, no, because I've got conviction in the value that we're bringing to people. I don't want to go too far into a commission, discussion with you guys, but I think that you have to have conviction in the value that you're bringing to the table. We are a full service luxury brokerage where we offer every amenity that you can. I'm very comfortable sharing with them how much money I'm spending on a listing, and Sherry keeps very close tabs on this on my team, but I think we averaged in per listing last year in expenses close to $4,500 per listing, if I'm somewhere in that ballpark anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm very comfortable having conviction in the value that we're bringing to the table, and 2.5% is what we bring. And sometimes it's 3% because if I know I'm spending more money, like on my super high end listing, I'm at 3.5% because I've spent $47,000 so far in marketing for the property, and I'm still haven't gotten paid for it. So I'm able to have that conversation up front with them and say, look, this is what it's going to take. I want to set very clear expectations for you that there aren't many buyers in this price point. So I'm willing to do everything that it takes. I'm willing to get your home in front of everywhere that it is. And Kat, you mentioned all those sites. We have a presence on all of them. We're in Upmarket, we're in Mansion, we're in Forbes, we're in Wall Street Journal, we're everywhere that you can be. In fact, we're even listed on the Zillow in China. I don't even know what it's called. They sent me proofs of the advertisements. It's all in Chinese. I'm like, it looks great. Hopefully all the information is right, but it looks great. So, but yeah, it's having conviction in the value and what you're bringing to the table. I'm very comfortable talking to anyone about that. If they have a commission or they have a commission objection, I'm very comfortable talking to them. Okay, what's your objection with the commission? And just walk through that.
Another question it's not related. When you were talking about the real grader, are you familiar with Blue Sky and Metricool?
I'm not.
Are they okay? I got those two from my daughter, and I need to talk to her in depth more about it, but it sounds like it's real similar to the same thing. I
Yeah.
was curious if you knew about either one of those.
I'm a terrible, terrible sucker for anything that you can leverage. I'm the worst like if you show me an infomercial, I'm probably going to buy it. So like walking through EXP con, I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm like squirrel. Use something. If you can find something that can do that, great. We use RealGrader. It does what we're looking for it to do.
Thank you. I was just curious if you knew about them, but
Yeah.
because they're free.
Yeah. Oh, they are free.
Mhm.
Well, there's a free option for RealGrader too for EXP. So
There is, yeah. Yep. And I see a couple of comments in there for sharing the pre-listing brochure. I'll be happy to do that. Kristen, can I do that here?
You can do it here, if people can get it, or you can just have Sherry send it to me, or Sarah, or
Sarah,
whoever,
yeah.
or yourself.
Sarah,
And so,
are you able to post that in the comments, Sarah?
Yeah, I can post it like the PDF version in the comments, and then Kristen, I can send it to you. I can also send like a Canva template that I use.
That'd be awesome.
you can go ahead and post it here, and then what we'll do, Rory, is when we share the recording, we can also, we can post the slides there as well for anybody who wasn't able to
Perfect.
make it today or wants to go through it. We
Perfect.
can get it
That would
down.
great.
Okay, I have a question. How do you go back and look at the chats from these videos to get the information?
So when it is, so you as a participant cannot see the chat. So
Okay.
since I'm recording it, so I can go ahead and like when it's downloaded to my computer, I can see the chat. If there's something specifically in the chat that you want me to send you, I'm happy to do that. But typically we don't send the chat along with the video.
Okay.
And then I had a question too. Walking a neighborhood when I relocated from Washington State to Ohio, and it's been a huge struggle trying to get restarted with everything. But when you said that, it reminded me that one of the ways I got a lot of business during COVID was walking my neighborhood because everybody was out walking their dogs and things. And I have a Mastiff, so she always gets a lot of attention. So if you're walking a luxury neighborhood that you don't live in, and someone says, "Oh, where do you live?" How do you answer that question?
I would just say I live in the area, but this neighborhood is just so beautiful, and we love working in and around this price point. So this is where I spend my time. And if that starts a conversation, just I would just be natural, but your ability to talk about the neighborhood and I would instantly flip it and say, well, where do you guys live? Oh, I love this neighborhood. I sell real estate, so I like spending my time in the areas that we like to work. So this is Sam, and he's 160 pounds, and blah blah blah, and give you information about just start just by osmosis, be natural, and I just think it's critically important. Just be authentic, be natural, but. I think it was in one of my slides. I didn't even make mention of it, but one of the things that I've tried to do since I started was having X number of conversations per day. It's not that difficult to do. If you set your goal and try to set 20 conversations per day, if you just do that, you're going to be successful. It gives you more practice. You're going to have a lot more comfort by being able to deliver your elevator speech. Of someone sees me in a coffee shop or at a gas station and they get into a conversation with me and they ask how the market is, I can regurgitate market information in my sleep, and I can tell anybody anything that they want to know about what the market conditions are like. Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Talk about the market. What are the current interest rates? What's happening? What do you think is going to happen? All of those things. If you're comfortable with being able to share that information, then you're the expert.
Okay. Yeah. And that's how I approach it. I do know all the answers to all those things. My 5-second elevator conversation. So yeah.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Just give yourself at bats to do it, and it'll happen. Thank you for sharing that listing presentation, Sarah. I think we can email a copy to you as well, Kristen, in case anyone else needs it after the fact. But guys, that's all I have for today. If you guys need to ask any questions directly to me, don't hesitate to reach out, and hopefully everyone got something out of this.
Awesome. Rory, thank you so much. It's always so fun to hear all of the knowledge that you have and your years of experience. And we have firsthand experience dealing with you. And I will tell you that you answered every phone call, answered every question, came to everything. Your team was amazing. So, it's
Thank
one
you.
of those things where we didn't even look at the commission. I know that we were not in the luxury market, but it was one of those things
No,
where
you were.
everything that you guys did was super amazing and was super top notch. So thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you from
I
a
appreciate
from a,
that.
from a past client.
Thank you. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you all again as we come up this week.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
Good
care.
luck to your
Bye.
All right.
son.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.